Speaking of changes, Oklahoma updated their roster for the 2025 season. We're going to have a few takeaways from that. Some guys got some good gains. We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there tuning in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jay, we had some gains on the Oklahoma Sooners football roster for 2025. What was the first thing that stood out to you as we perused the roster today?
So I immediately went and looked at the list as I'm looking at it one more time, and I had to check how big is our boys on the front. That's the only thing I cared about, is what were the big boys looking like on the line. And so, of course, David Stone comes in. He's well over 300. He's at 310. Trent Wilson, when he first got here, he was listed around like 280. And I remember telling folks over on my channel over on Unfair Sports, I was saying, hey, he told me and us that he is over 300 pounds, John. And so I'm like, okay, I think I believe him. Well, now he's listed at 307, 6'3", 307 as a true freshman. He told y'all he wanted to come and play immediately. He's placed himself in a situation to be able to do that. Besides that,
and I'm not going to doubt him.
No, not at all.
And don't tell him if I ever doubt him, because he might get me.
Oh, he may actually get you.
He might come for you.
He's going to come for you. He's definitely going to come for you. But there's two other guys that I thought jumped out the most to me on the gains, and it maintains itself in the trenches, because that's what's most important to me right now. PJ Adebawore, BB's been talking about for a while that he wants to get him over 250 pounds. He needs him over 250 pounds. He's listed at 261. And so if he's healthy and them ankles are holding up, John, we may have ourselves a monster.
He's ready. I mean, that's a dude that's ready to show up and play. Another guy that's ready to show up and play also in the trenches, Ryan Fodje, 322, true freshman. And
that's a big boy.
Stood out in spring ball. A lot of people noticed him and were excited about what he was doing in spring ball.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to start. I'm not even going to sit here and say he's going to play significant snaps. But if called into duty, I'm not going to sleep on the fact that Ryan Fodje could be this year's Caden Green.
Yeah. That's a very good point. He could come in there. And I remember it was Gabe and Teddy that was talking about it. Gabe was saying that he felt like Fodje is basically an SEC guard right now in the way of his size and his speed and his movement. But 322 is amazing. I also look anymore on defensive line. Taylor Wine was the other one that jumped out to me. And we've been hearing about him. Mm-hmm. He was the last minute pickup out of was at Brentwood, Tennessee.
Yeah.
He was, one that just the tape came out when we lost out on Colton Vasek. They're like, oh, okay, let's check out this kid and everything. He's up at like 276 pounds. Like
Jeez.
That's a monster at the edge.
Yeah.
That's your edge boy. So you add 262 from a Marvin Jones Jr. You got 249, 250 from R. Mason Thomas. Then PJ at 261. Yeah, the defensive line it's gotten beefed up in the capacity that you fans have been saying that you've been wanting.
Yep. Yeah, another true freshman that made some significant gains this offseason, Trynae Washington. Like, he's ready to play.
He's big.
He's tight end ready. He's up, around 240 pounds.
Yeah.
He's already got the 6'4" size. So you're looking at a kid, 248. Like, I was shocked when I saw that. When you read that to me, Jay, absolutely shocked, because this is a kid that was making the transition from wide receiver to tight end his senior year of high school at Carl Albert. And so you wonder, okay, did he put on enough weight that senior year to come to Oklahoma as a true freshman and then be ready to contribute early? Well, he did then, and he did this offseason as well. He might. I mean, tight end is one of the biggest questions that we have on the team. Again, like I mentioned earlier this week or last week, it's not the thing that's going to keep Oklahoma from succeeding this year.
Nope.
But you do want to find somebody that's able to step up and contribute both in the run game and the passing game. And now he's got the size to do that.
Yes, he does. He's built at the spot that you want to have your tight end. Like I said, with him being at, what's that, 200 and 248, he's one of the larger tight ends on the actually, I think he is basically the biggest outside of like Locke and Carson Kent. So out of the young guys, he's bigger than Caden Helms. He's bigger than McIntyre. He's bigger than Jaron Cannick, who's at 233. That's a nice size 233 dude, especially if he's still got the speed that we know that he has. Oklahoma may have, found a nice little diamond in the rough with him.
What about Xavier Robinson? So the dude was already a bruiser. He was what, a little over 220 last year, and he was playing well and he was playing physical. They've got him at 239.
Oh my!
I don't know really what to make of that. Like if that's good weight, if he's still going to be functional at that weight. But I imagine that they've put him through the paces, and this is something they've wanted him to do, is to continue to add that weight so that he can take that SEC pounding.
Yeah, I know that when I talked to him after high school, his goal was 215 just to try to shave some time off of his 4.540. But if they're going to bulk him up and make him a bigger back while also maintaining his speed, which we know Schmitty is really good of doing that.
Yeah.
That may actually be the game changer for an Xavier Robinson going into next season. Now he is going to be at the right size that you're hoping for. And boom, from there, be that next bruising back right behind a Jaden Ott while still having Javonte Barnes, as well as, mixing in some Taylor Tatum.
Well, if there's one area where Oklahoma struggled really last year in the Brent Venables era, it's been in short yardage. They have had a really hard time converting those 3rd and 1s, those 4th and 1s. We saw it in the Armed Forces Bowl against Navy. How many short yardage plays did Oklahoma have that they didn't convert? Well, with a guy like 240 in Xavier Robinson, might be a little bit easier to convert those. Another, again, a true freshman. All these true freshmen, they came in ready to work.
Yeah.
Elijah Thomas, the Chakotay native, he's over 200 pounds. That dude's coming in thick. And a lot of people have talked about him potentially being a true freshman that could stand out and contribute early. And with all of the questions at wide receiver, I'm not going to put it past him.
Nope.
He's physically ready to play.
Yeah, he is. He's at that point right now, and he's getting there. Another one, Jake Michaela, the defensive lineman that came from Stanford. He's just under 300 pounds here, and so which is a good thing because Troy Everett's like 310. And so that's a really good size for a center. Keeps him mobile while at the same time giving him an anchor as far as his size go. But Michaela, who we're expecting to be the successor, or he may try to supplant.
May try to start.
He's getting his body at the size and shape that you need in order to be able to participate. So pretty excited about that, John. On top of that, when you kind of go through the roster, there's a couple of things I also wanted to remind the Sooner fans out there. So we had that situation where we needed to get down to 105 players.
Yep.
So you saw a big shaving in roster. Well, that changed recently whenever the settlement actually went through. They created this designated player thing to where certain players can go ahead and enter the portal and find new homes because they're going to be hit with this. But they also allow teams to maintain and bring back kids that they had to let go because of the roster limit. Right. Well, I just found like 6 players that we basically hit the portal, came back. One of the bigger names to keep your eyes on is Jocelyn Malaska, the player from Bethany, the corner, 6'1", big corner that transferred here from Utah. He's back on the roster. I saw Reed DeQuasi. He was the quarterback, and he played safety here from Carl Albert when he played with Xavier Robinson. Xavier Robinson's quarterback. The year that they won the state title, X-Rob ran for like 2,500-something yards because Reed DeQuasi got hurt.
Yeah.
And, Reed's back. He was healthy last year. He entered the portal. He's now back on the roster. So as I'm perusing through here, you're seeing a few more names that have returned to Oklahoma because now we can go over the 105 for the next couple of years because these kids, the House settlement basically said this settlement should not sacrifice kids' scholarships just because it's now in place. They're allowed for that grandfathering in situation.
Right. Kids that were promised a roster spot, or the expectation was that they would have a roster spot, are going to be able to be grandfathered in. So yeah, a nice change. You're going to continue to have that depth. Those walk-on guys are going to have an opportunity to maybe earn a role and find a role. I mean, we've seen it in the past with, guys like Jacob Jordan contributed last year. You could see that from some of these other guys as well. You never know. The final one here, Jaden Ott getting number 0.
Yes.
The last time we had a 1,000-yard rusher wore number 0.
That's true. Eric Gray. That's a very good point. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. Perhaps we can break the trend here and we can get another 1,000-yard rusher for SEC 2025. Coming up next, Garrett Nussmeier was very praiseworthy, provided a lot of praise for a couple former Sooners. We'll discuss that coming up on Locked On Sooners.